Today's story was written by Reddit user Robot42267. In a distant alien world, a mind reader contest was about to take place. The game was simple in concept, but complex in execution. Participants were required to read their opponents' minds and devise strategies based on their thoughts, all while shielding their own minds from being read. The ultimate goal was to reduce their opponent's health points to 0 through a card battle game. I, Zonza, came here for both honour and money. This championship is known for opening an uncountable number of doors, and opportunities will come to you. So I have been training for months, making multiple strategies that would have my victory assured. But to be safe, I decided to find out who I will be up against. I looked at this list of participants and saw that I would be up against a human. Everyone couldn't help but feel skeptical about the human contestant. After all, everyone knew that humans lacked any psionic abilities. Why would they even bother participating in a contest that revolved around reading minds? Round 1. The first round began, and I confidently delved into the human's mind. To my surprise, gaining access was almost too easy, as if there were no mental barriers to overcome. However, my triumph was short-lived. Once inside, I was bombarded by a whirlwind of chaotic thoughts. The human's mind seemed to jump from one idea to another, creating a maze of unrelated thoughts that made it incredibly challenging to find a coherent winning strategy. Perplexed, I struggled to make sense of the human's mind. There was no logic, order, or structure to be found. Instead, the thoughts meandered through memories of dogs, cats, video games, and random sensory experiences like the smell of flowers. It was an overwhelming mess, leaving me to question whether humans truly thought in such a haphazard and unorganized manner. Humans must lose track of a lot of things if their thoughts are this disorganized. I thought, looking at the face of the human who chuckled, as if he found my thoughts to be funny. A feeling of unease filled my mind, as the thought that I had left my mind unprotected this whole time gave away my strategy to the human. I realised I was overconfident and started adding mental barriers to protect my mind from this human. This human was not someone to be looked down on. It was time to draw our cards. We chose our own cards to place down and then flipped them over at the same time. I was shocked. How? How did this human read my mind so easily, even with my mental barriers? He knew what my new plan was and placed his card accordingly. I looked up from the cards on the table and looked at his face. He was baring his teeth at me. My translator said it was a smile, and what that meant. He was confident that he would win. Round 2. It's okay, this human just got lucky in the first round, I thought to myself, just before trying again to read the human's mind. But to my surprise, the human's mind was not a mess of thoughts this time. He seemed prepared, and his mind appeared to be blank. I thought that the human had found a way to block me from his mind after the first time I probed it. His mind remained blank throughout the whole round, and when it came time for us to place down our cards, I was uncertain and decided to place my more versatile card down, so I would take less damage from the human's cards. At that moment, the human grabbed a card from his hand, with that same smile on his face. We flipped our cards, and the human won 2 games in a row with a card that perfectly countered mine. He knew what card I was going to play, even when I put all my efforts into my mental barriers. The crowd watched in awe as the human outwitted their opponents time and time again. Whispers filled the arena, with spectators expressing their astonishment at the human's performance. How could someone without any psychic powers excel in a contest centered around mind reading? I couldn't help but feel a mix of admiration and frustration. Despite my best efforts, I found it impossible to comprehend the human's mind. It was as if the human operated on an entirely different wavelength, one that defied the conventional understanding of psionic abilities, which, knowing humans, wouldn't be much of a surprise. Round 3. I attempted to shield my own mind while simultaneously trying to unravel the human's strategy, but the human remained a mystery, always one step ahead. He seemed to anticipate every move, every thought, without me feeling his presence within my mind. Is this human a master psychic so powerful that he can read others' minds without them noticing anything? My mind raced with possible reasons why this human was doing so well compared to what was expected of a race with no psionic powers at all. All I could think of was that this human may be cheating. But then again, if he were cheating, he would be found out because his associates would be discovered right away when they set up a telepathic link. And even if he was cheating, that wouldn't explain how he was able to read my mind without me feeling his presence. This human can't be cheating. There is no way, but if they are not cheating, then how are they so good at reading my thoughts? I knew that if I didn't win 3 games in a row at this point, I would lose to this human, so I pushed my powers to their absolute limitations and did my best to read the human's mind. And this time, I saw an image of the human's hand of cards that was swiftly replaced with a new thought. Ha! The human has messed up and shown me his own cards. His plan is as clear as day now. He is now doomed to lose, now that I know his cards. Now, it was time to draw our cards. I waited for the human to place his cards, still with that smile on his face. He was unaware that... What if he is aware of my plan? He is still smiling at me with that same damn smile. He has already placed his card, so he can't take it back. I changed my plans and grabbed a different card than I was originally planning to use. We flipped over both our cards, and I lost. That image within his mind was a lie. He placed a card that was not in the mental image that I saw. He tricked me, and not only did he trick me, but he also knew my next thoughts before I knew them. Game over, the human had won. The human looked at me and said, "You're thinking about how I could have won, aren't you?" I stood there knowing it. This human was indeed a telepath. There is no doubt now. He just read my mind and told me what I was thinking right in front of me. Before I could ask that question, the human picked up on my curiosity and started to give an explanation. "Well, you see, it is true that humans don't have any psionic potential at all, and to clarify, no, I am not a telepath. I thought it was fun having you think that and panic as a result. During the first round, I planned to have my mind a mess of thoughts, filling my head with random garbage, so my plan would be a needle in a haystack since I couldn't keep you out of my head. In the next round, I just cleared my head. It was hard to keep it clear and not have any thoughts, but in the end, I ended up thinking of a white room and not pure nothingness. Then, for the last round, take a guess of how I was able to predict your next thoughts." I finally understood the meaning of that weird human word, flabbergasted. I had no other idea why. Besides being able to see into the future, I was unable to come to a conclusion without any form of psionic powers. My mind was reeling with confusion and disbelief. How could a human possess the ability to see into the future? It defied everything I knew about psionic abilities, and the limits of the human mind, yet the evidence was right in front of me. The human had consistently outmaneuvered me, anticipating every move. The human, still wearing that enigmatic smile, began to elaborate on his extraordinary talent. He explained, "You see, Zlona, what you perceive as seeing into the future is simply a result of careful observation and analysis. While I may not possess psionic abilities like you, humans have developed incredible cognitive abilities that allow us to process information rapidly and make accurate predictions. I wanted to give you some false information, changing the image of the cards in my hands in my mind to something else that would make your strategy simple to understand. I had a bad hand, and the only way for me to win that round was to get you to play a card that was weak against my cards. As you saw my cards in my mind, your original plan would have won that round, but that was the plan. Then I had you doubt yourself. After all, I was one step ahead the whole game, so, of course, you had to be cautious. Then you took the smile off my face and decided to foil my plan, only to realise you were doing everything I expected in my real plan. That day, I learned one thing. Humans may not have psionic abilities, but they are very versatile as a species, proving that they are capable of almost anything.